gets a pile of revisions that they have to make at the end of a dissertation defense. Not you. I'm going to tell you some things you can do to minimize the revisions that you have to make at the end of your defense. We're starting right now. Hi everyone, I'm Leigh from teachingacademia.com, and I'm all about giving you the tools you need to navigate academia to make your best impact. Today we're talking about how you can get through a dissertation defense and not have almost zero revisions that you need to do afterwards. Okay, so let's talk about how you do that. This comes from my own personal experience. Let me just tell you a little bit, first of all, about where I'm coming from on this. I put, as I'm sure you have or did, a lot of time into my dissertation. I spent a year collecting data, well, maybe like 8 months collecting data, and then analyzing data took 3 or 4 months, and then writing the whole thing up took, again, 3 or 4 months. And I just wanted to be done with it. I just wanted to get on with my life, right? After the defense. And I did not want to have to go back and do a bunch of revisions. I had seen so many horror stories of doctoral students who had gone before me who had to go back and do these revisions. And yes, they did them and they succeeded and they graduated and they moved on. They didn't want to do it. They were burned out, right? And so are you probably, right? You're tired. You just want it to be done already, okay? So let's talk about this, because this is the system that I used so that when I got through my dissertation defense, it's not that I didn't have revisions. I had revisions, okay? And that's the thing that you're going to have to accept as we go through this step that these steps I'm going to lay out for you, is that it's not that I'm going to teach you how to write this fantastic dissertation where you're going to have 0 revisions or hardly any revisions and you're never going to have to revise. You are going to have to revise, okay? This is just going to flip the model around a little bit. So for me, when I went through this model that I'm going to show you right now, when I got done, my revisions took me 2 hours, all right? 2 hours. I think I added 2 paragraphs. That 2 hours includes the time that it took me to go to the library, because this was a long time ago and I had to actually go to the library to get a physical copy of an article that I needed to read to cite in my dissertation. So that's it. When my proposal, when my dissertation defense was done, my committee wanted me to go find one article, read it, and make sure it got included and cited in my dissertation. It took me 2 hours, okay? And that counted the time to go to the library, read the article, and put it in, which again was something like 1 to 2 paragraphs. So what did I do? Okay, so first of all, again, like I said, revisions are gonna happen. You need to accept that revisions are part of this process. The question that I ask myself, okay, is do I wanna do revisions now or do I wanna do revisions later? So when I say do I want to do revisions now, it means do I want to put in a lot of effort to do them before the defense, or do I want to have to put in a lot of effort to do them after the defense? Okay, that's the question you want to ask yourself. If you want to do revisions later, then this video is not for you, because you're going to do them after your dissertation defense. But if you're willing to do the work before the dissertation defense, then you're going to minimize what you have to do after the dissertation defense. Let me tell you something. When I had those 2 hours worth of revisions to do, right, which, like I said, included going to the library, I didn't want to do those. I was so tired. I was so over it, okay? So how do you do this, okay? How do you make it happen so that you have little to no revisions? So once you decide, hey, I'm going to put in the work and I'm going to get this done, or as close to done as I can before my defense, what you need to do, obviously, is you establish your defense date, and then you establish a date of submission for your dissertation, right? So that could be 2 or 3 weeks. Different universities, different programs have different requirements. So let's say that my defense is on May 1st, okay? Maybe that means around April 15th or so, I'm gonna have to be submitting my dissertation to my committee. My committee is gonna have a couple weeks to read it. They're going to come with, revisions they want me to make, questions they want me to answer, questions that if they're not satisfied with the answer are gonna lead to revisions, okay? So that's what that time is for, right? They need time to read and process and know what they're gonna do. So we know when your defense is going to be, you know when your date of submission is going to be. Now, get ahead of your submission by 2 months. So let's use this again. Let's say I have to submit my dissertation over to my committee by April 15th. Let's have that dissertation ready to be placed into the hands of my committee. Let's say February 15th, February 1st, okay? And obviously all the stuff that I'm going to be telling you here, you want to work this out with your advisor. You don't want to do any of this without your advisor knowing that you were doing this and without your advisor giving you approval to do this, okay? So what you want to do is get ahead of that due date by a couple of months. and then send it out to your committee. All right, ask them to read it and ask them to meet with you one-on-one to give you feedback. Okay, when they read it, what were their questions? What were their places of concern? You're not showing up and saying, hey, what revisions do you want me to make so I don't have to make them after the defense? We're not doing that. We're just saying, hey, where are the holes here for you? What are the questions that you have? What are the things that I could shore up, tighten up now, both in this dissertation, the written version, and also at my defense? I personally did this. I met with all my committee members. They were more than happy to meet with me, to talk with me about it. I then went back right into my proposal. Well, actually, sorry, I keep saying proposal, into my document to make the revisions. Now, before I made those revisions, I met with my advisor. I went over what everybody had said to me during our individual meetings with them, and then we agreed on what kinds of changes I should go ahead and make to my dissertation, my document, my written document. Because not everything everybody says, right, needs to be addressed in a revision, and also you may have some conflicting feedback. So your advisor is there to help you think that through. So that, let's say I give everything to my committee around the beginning of February. They have a couple weeks to read it. I meet with them. I meet with my advisor. It's the beginning of March. Now I'm making some more revisions. Okay, I'm digging into this. I'm really trying to, you're really trying to figure out what needs to be done and fix it. Okay, then we get around to this April 15th deadline where I have to submit, right, everything to my committee. So go ahead and hand it over. So what's going to happen in this model is your committee is going to read your dissertation twice. They're going to read it, right, a couple months ahead of that due date to meet with you, give you feedback. You're going to take that feedback, go to your advisor, decide what some revisions are going to look like. You're going to go back, you're going to edit, you're going to make those revisions. Then you're going to send it on over to your committee. And you may want to send over a little letter, at least to individual committee members, letting them know how you incorporated that meeting with them, that feedback they gave you, into this version. Okay, so now they're going to get another version. Then you're going to go to your defense. Now, at the end of your defense, I'm not saying you're not going to have 0 revisions. You might, but you're probably going to have some. But what you've done is you've now cut down drastically on the amount of revisions that you are going to have to make. Okay, this is going to help you, get done faster, be over it faster, right? Be able to turn it in faster, right? All the things that you want. It should also relieve some anxiety because you've already had personal one-on-one discussions with each committee member, having read a pretty solid version of your dissertation before you get to the defense. So you kind of already know what they're thinking, what they're expecting, what they're going to want you to talk about. All right. Make sure that you clear all of this with your advisor and make sure your committee is on board with this. But this is an approach that I personally found, if you implement it, can save you. You still have to do revisions, but you do them before the defense, and it saves you having to do a bunch of revisions after the defense. All right, so if you like that tip, come on and follow me on over. Let's go to the next video.